Uyo, uko, kuno, abo, bano. Mama wanna get it nice. I know food I miss so. I know food I say. I know kaya mari. Come back, don't you come? But don't you come?
Kambakwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com.
Right, 21 May 2023, and I'm happy to be back to doing some live broadcasts. And this is very interesting because, as you know, I've not been doing broadcasts for a very, very long time, but I've been around and we're going to continue to talk. And this time around, we're going to be talking about what is happening in Zimbabwe. You remember last few weeks back, I was in Zimbabwe exploring the opportunities that are there. And I'm going to continue to give all the people that follow this page the direction of where you need to go if you want to make money going forward. What is happening in Zimbabwe, I'm going to be always on the ground, and also to assist with your investment strategy, because you need to understand what's happening. Zimbabwe is at a point where before things were not happening. But if you go to Zimbabwe right now, you clearly see that there is a lot that is happening. There is a lot of development taking place, and particularly in the building sector. The building sector of Zimbabwe, private developments that are coming up, they are amazing. And the amount of economic activities taking place, especially in the area of the Midlands, Masvingo, and Harare, the areas surrounding Harare, the developments that are taking place there, they are amazing. And driving from Gweru to Harare, I was almost stuck in a traffic jam. I'm talking about the freeway between Harare and Gweru. I was almost stuck in a traffic jam. The developments around Gweru, if you look at the developments around Gweru in terms of residential, it's amazing. It's getting very, very big. There is something happening in Zimbabwe, and this is all around construction. So the trend going forward is that there's going to be a lot of price rises in the land sector. You see that there is a lot of interest in land. And I want the young guys, especially the young guys who are in the diaspora, and also obviously people of my age who are in the diaspora, to understand what is happening. You will not just get land the way it was before. Cheap land is no longer available. And there is need, and I've been saying this before, there's need to strategically come together and get land. So I want to go, obviously this week you all saw the story that came out. People talking about the land and the developments that we're having in Kariba. That is one of our projects. We're going to be continuing to create more projects. I am going to continue to try to get land through the government of Zimbabwe. That process that we've been going through is going to be ongoing. But to clarify, land for residential is obviously running out. It's running out, especially in the areas around Masvingo, areas around Harare. You know that land is run out completely. Areas around Gweru, land is running out. But the key area for development, or the key areas for development, are going to be the tourism areas. So the area around Kariba, the area around Victoria Falls, and then going along the Zambezi. So that is going down to Binga and all the areas around there. It's completely underdeveloped, and there's a need for people to go in there and cause development to take place. We have a lot of plans around that area, especially areas around the Zambezi. We're going to be doing a lot of work there. And over the past 3 years, I have been working very, very hard. I've been in Zimbabwe. I've had more than 20 flights into Zimbabwe and out, working on land projects. And if you want to know someone that you can ask about land in Zimbabwe, that is me. That is the person that knows about what is happening in terms of land in Zimbabwe. So if you're in the diaspora, know this. There is a lot of development taking place in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwe that you used to know is not that Zimbabwe that is there now. And land is going to be the center of it, especially the areas around the tourism areas. And also the developments that are taking place in terms of actual changes. So if you go to Kadoma right now, and you used to stand at the corner there, I'm sure the guys on Kadoma who are watching me know this. You used to stand at the corner there where you wait for transport, where there's a mosque. If you go now, someone is building a massive complex there. If you go to Zishawane, the guys have built a massive complex there at the edge on the mountain. This is happening everywhere. So land is running out, land prices are going up, and we need to work together on how we can develop land. Then I want to go to the area of the stories that were raised on ZimEye about Gambaku Media. I'm going to be giving more details on how we run our projects, and our projects are transparent and clear. Currently, we are in negotiations with a number of people to make sure that we clarify certain issues, because when people go into projects, there's usually a lack of clarity, especially when we're working in an informal setup. But one thing I can assure you is that we're going to be focused on land projects. We're going to be focused on building materials. So we're going to be going into building materials also. This is something that is in deep shop supply. For example, timber. We've been trying to get timber this last month for the roof. Timber is extremely expensive. We've been trying to get roofing materials, thatching. And thatching is extremely rare and scarce. To thatch a hut, it was costing us almost $5,000, which if you convert to rands, it's about 100,000. And we found solutions around that. Bricks. In the area of the whole area of Kariba, there are no bricks being manufactured there. You have to go to Chinoi, you have to go as far as Harare to get bricks. And this is across the whole country. It's very difficult to find out where material is, how much it costs. So there is a lot of opportunity in Zimbabwe in the building sector, and it's $1 billion industry. And you are coming to the right place. If you talk to Gambaku about land in Zimbabwe, about developments, this is the right place to come. But in short, what you should know is that there is a lot of opportunity. Do not waste your time listening to someone who is telling you about things collapsing in Zimbabwe and everything. That is past. Right now, as we speak, things are happening, and things are happening very, very fast. Do not be left out. And I can assure you, there is a gap there where young people that are at the bottom, they don't have access to land, and we'll try to cover that gap with our projects. So besides the diaspora, we're eventually going to get into that space where someone who's coming from school, someone who's not employed, but they need a proper house and shelter. They need a properly designed place to stay. We need to get into that space. That's where the opportunities are. Now, let me quickly look at the comments. Kainos Chipaze, you're saying, you saw Kutaud's okay. I never said Rand it's okay. I just rebranded. We're rebranding Gambaku Media. So the time for politics is over. I can assure you, it's there. There's politics. But the time for business is coming. And if you do not jump onto that opportunity of making business, of making money, you're going to lose out. So we're moving more and more into how do we make more money, how to come together as people in the diaspora, in Zimbabwe, it's all over. You see what is happening in South Africa. There's quite a lot of change happening here in South Africa. The blackouts, I've not had electricity most of the time, let's say 4 or 5 hours a day. So these things, they're an indicator, obviously, that the environment is changing. And eventually, you have to look back and say, where do I go? Where is it better for me to be? And that is where we are now. That is the point where we are. Then Lex is saying, Gabak propaganda says Zanu, you're biased, Pachokwadi. I will never talk politics here today. And we're going to reduce it as much as possible. Here we're talking about land, we're talking about opportunity. As I say, focus on positivity, focus on opportunity. This is where we're going to be going, and we're going to be doing more of this, especially as I go on the ground more and more. Then it's unfortunate that this land you're talking about is available to the elite, the general population have to pay a lot of money to acquire land. Guys, what I'm saying is land is expensive now, but it's going to get more and more expensive. So we need to find solutions of acquiring lands as groups, and we're going to continue with that strategy, with that way of doing things. It has worked very, very well for us in Kariba. I'm very, very proud of that project that we did in Kariba. I'm very proud of the projects that we're going to be doing in Harare. You know that we were attempting to do projects outside Harare, 100 kilometers from Harare. That we're going to attempt to revive that project. We still have a lot of people in our groups who are waiting to get land. There is a lot of hunger for land in Zimbabwe, and it's unsatiable. The amount of people who want land right now in the diaspora, there are so many. You won't be able to satisfy the amount of people who want land. When it comes to material land, there is a big problem. And let me explain to you what the problem is. The problem in material land is the Bulawayo City Council. The corruption at the Bulawayo City Council is shocking. They do not have a clear way of providing land. So they put out adverts for land. We paid actually with a group of about 20 people, and we never heard anything from them. This is a reoccurring theme in Bulawayo. The Bulawayo City Council is the biggest problem and stumbling block. And then if you go around Bulawayo, areas like Umguza, if you go to Esgodini, areas like that, they are totally not interested in the area of developing land. I pass by Esgodini right now, by Habani. It's a mess. That place is the same way it was when I was at school in Zimbabwe High School. They've not developed it. They're not interested in developing settlements. Imagine if the Esgodini Rural District Council was to offer land and properly structure development. So your problem is those councils and those rural district councils. As far as Mchabezi, all those areas around there, you could have settlements there. Areas like Macheche, I can tell you that material land is totally underdeveloped because the guys who are around, they are not interested in offering this land to people who are out here. That's why you see that when you drive towards Bulawayo, the development is around NAST and it's government-led. So the government is developing student accommodation opposite NAST on the left, and there are private players developing land on the right. That's all that is taking place in material land. So material land guys, they just need to wake up. There's no need to complain. And development is not taking place there. Development is in Shawane, it's in Maswingo, it's in Gweru, and on the outskirts of Harare. Lots of development around there. But I'm concerned about the deterioration. So that's why I'm saying to you, land is going to get very expensive. There's a lot of deterioration. So if you go to Ruwa, I used to stay in Sunway City. It's a mess. They've taken a nice place, and then a lot of people just built in the surrounding farms without order. So a house that used to cost 5 million now it's surrounded by houses that cost 2 million. And this is where your problem is. The proper planning is not there, especially when private players are selling land. And remember, I'm not saying that this land is cheap. It's going to be very, very expensive. You're talking here of land, just a small piece of land, 50,000 going up. That's where you're going to look at. If you go to areas like Goromonzi, around there, you can't get land. There's raw land. The raw district councils don't have a plan for it. We send one guy to look for land in the raw district councils around Harare. He spent a month and he could not get land. There's no road distance of offering land, including areas around Umboshaba, all those areas. We've gone there looking for land. It's not available. If you want land, you just have to go way further out and you pay a lot. There's a private company selling land. I think it was, I think Jamaica Inn, when we went there, they were selling their land for, I think it was 500,000 for 4 acres. And across the road, they were selling for 10,000 square meters, $50,000. The amounts that I'm telling you about here, there are very, very few people who can afford that kind of land. That's why you need groups. And you need to understand why you need groups. You need groups because land is expensive and you cannot buy it by yourself. Right, I think I'm almost done so far. What have you built so far? We're building Kariba. We're going to be starting in Harare, in areas around Harare. We're going to be doing a lot, but our Kariba project is going to be a flagship project because it's a tourism area. And as I said, the areas around Zambezi, if I could have my way, we could have a boat there going from Kariba all the way to Victoria Falls. We're talking serious business here. And I'm quite disappointed, especially with Simbachi Kanza. Simbachi Kanza has got access to me. I had a call with Simbachi Kanza last week when he published the story about me. And I told Simba how I'm disappointed about what he's doing, and I'm still disappointed now. But I understand we will sort this out, because what I want the guys in the diaspora to understand is, if we don't do it, so guys like me, guys who've got projects, if we don't do it, it will never get done, because there's lack of trust among the Zimbabweans. So if Zimbabwe starts a project, everyone must support that project. Support that project because it's your project. So if Zimbabwe makes a mistake, don't try to bring Zimbabwe down so that he can't go to a bank to get money to sponsor projects. We should try to get the details. I will never take a cent from anyone or disadvantage anybody. And I will never stop these projects that we're doing, because this is how we're going to develop our country. I have tried everything. I've gone to everyone. When I say everyone, I mean everyone. I've gone to everyone, tried to get land and to get people together. So this is what we want to do. We want to develop our country. And that is outside of politics. This is business. So if you're in the diaspora, listen to positivity. I'm always going to be saying this. Look for opportunities, and we're going to give opportunities to everybody. But if you've got questions, obviously, there's our number. That's my number. It's free. If you phone now, you're going to talk to me. I'm available to talk to people. I'm not that person that is not reachable. When I'm in Zimbabwe, people come to me, we talk. Last week I was around South Africa. People come up to me, we talk. But this focus on trying to see why it won't work, that is the problem with young Zimbabweans. Have some faith. Try to get into these projects. And as I said, we're going to go into getting land for young people that are actually in Zimbabwe. So this is something that we're going to be doing. Land projects are my interest, and building materials are going to be obviously our interest. And Baba Heli, that's the last question I'm going to answer, which says, kindly advise an ordinary man to acquire this land you're talking about. Tuenda kwa Sabugere, of course, 3 diaspora, but want to come home. So if you're in the diaspora, you have to join groups. You cannot do it by yourself. Do not try it to buy land in Zimbabwe by yourself. The process of developing a piece of land and the process of building, getting licenses, it will bankrupt you. You need to work with other people. So I'm not saying join my group. All I'm saying is join other people. If you know people, 10 people or 20 people, join those people. In Kariba was 16. And so far, we've spent about 100,000 on 6,000 square meters piece of land, just to get to a point where it is reasonable. The actual development cost of our piece of land is going to be $680,000, and the value of that project is $2 million. I'm talking to you. I'm a guy here who sits on YouTube. When I started here, all I had was my phone. And now I'm telling you about the $2 million project. If you're in the diaspora, find your friends, find people you trust. If you guys raise $100,000, you can buy a farm. In Bulawayo there, around Bulawayo, there's a lot of people calling people with land. So don't just buy land randomly. Go to government, go to people in positions of authority and get government land or government-related land. Do not get this land that you don't know where it came from. Go to council, go to a rural district council. So when we bought our land, we bought it from people that we trust. We don't just buy land randomly because you're going to lose your money. So first thing that I can say, if you want land in the diaspora, join a group, find someone that is known, that won't run away with your money, and then have a plan, have a structure. Unfortunately for us, we were rather informal when we started. So a bit of problems came in, but we've learned a lot and we're not going to stop. So we're going to have a lot of projects. But for me, I'm going to be focused on Harare. I'm going to be focused on Kariba. I'm going to be focused on the Zambezi. So Zambezi all the way to Victoria Falls. That is where we're going to be focused. So that is all I wanted to say today. I am very, very passionate about the developments taking place in Zimbabwe. And I encourage you, if you're in the diaspora, just get this. You cannot miss out on these things that are happening in Zimbabwe, on the developments that are happening in Zimbabwe. Amazing stuff. And do not listen to someone who's telling you that Zimbabwe is not doing well. It's doing very, very well. And you got to be part of it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And I am going to be dealing with all the issues that are arising. And I'm going to be dealing with them openly. And there is nothing untoward. I'm not involved in anything that is illegal. I'm not involved in anything that involves taking anyone's money. I'm open to anybody to audit the work that we've been doing. And it's clear as day. Thank you very much. And we'll see each other again. We're going to be continuing with our coverage now. We're going to be having our guests. Senator Kalipani Pugeni is going to be contesting. And before I go, I want to thank Senator Kalipani Pugeni. He's been a great help in our project in Kariba. Financially, he has helped us in a way that we were not going to be able to continue with the project without him. And I want to thank all the other guys who've been with us in our project and in the new projects that we're going to start. We're going to start a lot of projects. And if you're in Binga, if you're a guy from Binga, I need you to contact me. Let's talk about Binga. I want to do our next project in Binga. And we want to do projects along the Zambezi, a lot of projects there. So if you're in that area, let's talk. Let's just have an informal discussion. And then let's take it from there. Thank you very much, everybody. And good night.
Kuno abo bano mama wanna get it nice. I know food I miss, I know food I tell, I know kaya marigi. Kama kwetu tikomo, kama kwetu tikomo usasaire. Kama kwe anogaya mari.
Kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari. Garai mamunzwa paninya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Kamba kwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanosiya mari. Kamba kwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanoteerere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Kamba kwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence plus intelligence.
Entertainment, current affairs and news. Kamba kwe totikomo usasarire. Kamba kwe anogaya mari.